Okay, today I'm going to show you how to solve quadratic equations by factoring. So let's consider this quadratic equation. We have x squared plus x minus 12 equals 0. So we need to solve this by factoring. So in order to solve quadratic equations by factoring, your first step is to have two factors that start out with x and multiply to give you your original quadratic equation. And in our case, that is x squared plus x minus 12 equals 0. Alright, so step 1 was really easy. It was just writing your two factors that start off with x. Now step 2 is where it gets a little harder. So in step 2, what you need to do is you need to find two numbers that multiply to give you negative 12, so your last term, and add to give you your second term, which is 1. So we are looking for two numbers that multiply to negative 12 and add to positive 1. So that is, we need two numbers that multiply to give us negative 12 and add to give us positive 1. So these two numbers are the same numbers, obviously. So now what you need to do is you need to make a list of your factors of negative 12. That is, you need to make a list of numbers that multiply to give you negative 12, and then you will check if when you add those two numbers up, do they give you positive 1? So now let's make the list of two numbers that multiply to give you negative 12. So obviously we have 1 and negative 12, because 1 times negative 12 will give you negative 12. We also have negative 1 and 12. And then we have negative 4 and 3, and then negative 3 and 4. And the other two numbers are 6 and 2, so 6 and negative 2 and negative 6 and 2. So these are the list of factors that multiply to give you negative 12. So now our next step is to see which of these two numbers add up to give you positive 1. So now we see which of these add up to give you positive 1. Well, 1 minus 12 is negative 11, so this does not work. Negative 1 plus 12 is 11, still doesn't work. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. No, we need positive 1. 4 minus 3 is positive 1. So this is the 1. These are our two factors. So these we don't even need to check because we got our solution. So we have negative 3 and 4, negative 3 and 4. Now what we need to do is just fill in our factors in our step 1. So we have positive 4, so plus 4 would go here. Then we have minus 3, and then you make sure you carry the minus there. So this is factored to x plus 4 times x minus 3 equals 0. So these are our factors, and also make sure you could also switch these around. So you could have written x minus 3 and x plus 4. It doesn't matter because when you multiply this, you would end up with your original quadratic equation. So now we have factored and we are ready to solve in step 3. So let's just rewrite what we factored. Now in order to solve, what you have to do is you have to take each factor separately and set it equal to 0. So now we set each factor equal to 0. So we have x plus 4 equals 0, or we have x minus 3 equals 0. So now we just have to solve each equation. So now let's look at x plus 4 equals 0. So in order to solve this, we want our variable x to be on one side and our numbers to be on the other side. So let's have our x variable to be on our left-hand side of the equal sign and our number 4 to be on our right-hand side of the equal sign. So in order to bring 4 over onto this side, we have to subtract both sides. So that means x equals 0 minus 4 is just negative 4. Now we can do the same with x minus 3 equals 0. So we want to bring negative 3 to the other side. So in order to bring it to the other side, we have to take the opposite sign of negative 3, so positive 3. So negative 3 plus 3 is 0. Then we are left with x equals 3. So then our answer is x equals negative 4 and x equals 3. So this is how you solve quadratic equations by factoring. So you can also check these solutions by substituting each one at a time into the original equation and seeing if it actually equals 0. So let's do that. So we had x squared plus x minus 12 as our quadratic equation, and then we factored it out and we got x plus 4 and x minus 3. And then when we solved it, we solved for x equals negative 4 or x equals positive 3. Now let's check if our work is actually correct. So it's always good to check your work, especially for math problems. During an exam, if you get time, always recheck because you can make silly mistakes and easily lose a mark. So let's first check for when x equals negative 4. So what you need to do is just substitute negative 4 into our factored equation. So we have x is negative 4, so negative 4 plus 4, negative 4 minus 3 equals 0. So negative 4 plus 4 is 0. Negative 4 minus negative 3 is, well, this is adding, but then you're going to have the negative sign at the front, so negative 7. Well, 0 times any number is 0. So 0 equals 0, so this is correct. Right-hand side equals left-hand side. So now let's check for x equals 3. So same thing, just substitute positive 3 for x into our factored equation. So we have 3 plus 4 and 3 minus 3 equals 0. So we're checking if this equals 0, so question mark type of thing. So 3 plus 4 is positive 7. 3 minus 3 is 0. Does it equal 0? Well, 0 times 7, yes. So it's true. Okay, so that means our two answers that we found for x equals negative 4 and x equals positive 3 by factoring lead to true statements, that is 0 equals 0, so it's good. Left-hand side equals right-hand side. So that means our solutions are correct. So now let's try for x equals 5. So let's try x equals 5, right? Well, we're going to substitute x equals 5 into our factored equation. So we have 5 plus 4, 5 minus 3. Does this equal 0? Let's check. Well, 5 plus 4 is 9. 5 minus 3 is 2. 0. Well, 9 times 2 is 18. It does not equal 0. So obviously, if we got 5 as our answer, we would know it's wrong. So that's all for today on how to solve quadratic equations by factoring. Hopefully this video helps you guys out while you're studying for your exams. Make sure you like and subscribe this video and leave a comment below.